Hello.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you, sir. Well, it was a happy Sunday for everyone except for Arsenal fans today.
Oh no.
So,
No team.
okay, so from a non-soccer watcher perspective, and in fairness, I only watched maybe a third to a half of it. Corey came over and we watched the game. There he is right there. Good evening,
Corey.
So Corey came over and we watched the game.
Okay.
And the irony is that Arsenal won the game they played today, but it still left them second in rank because the other team that was playing today also won, which bumped up their points. So it was a sad day for Arsenal. I did determine today that I think soccer would be way better if they played it shirtless. Like, I think I would probably watch much more frequently, but the shirt seemed to get in the way, like, of their play.
That's super funny.
It was just.
I just gotta put this hat on.
Oh, on goes the two.
I hate wearing these earphones without a hat. It bothers my ears.
Well, when I was wearing headphones earlier, and I have to take out my earrings, or else they prickle.
Oh,
they're very prickly. You know what I like about this new software, outside of the fact that I wasn't able to successfully use it to make a fun. Here, I'll share it with folks just in case. So later in the conversation, this will be relevant. But I was trying to make like a little banner that was going across the top, and I did this, and it was kind of fun, but it took up the whole screen. So either way. Sad. But what I do like about this app is that I like the fact that it tells us people are watching, and they're watching even before we start, which I really like. So
I like that you can see the comments too from both YouTube and Facebook at the same time.
Yes, I like that as well. So yes, hello Lana. Lana was hard at work in her garden today, and she sent me some fantastic pictures of her garden. I did not work in my garden today, but I did do a lot of work today because the House of Dysfunction certainly is a fair name for this, the home, which is the home of Three Things Consulting, our offices here in Canada. And we found a new House of Dysfunction to move to and settled on it. And
since last week,
and sorted out all the paperwork. And so we are moving, and it's not far from here. It's the other side. It's in a nice little area of the city called Portsmouth, and we're very excited to move. But moving, there's a reason I only move once a decade. Because it is so much effort. And I was doing some math today. So I spent what I would presume in the last 4 to 5 weeks, just over 80 hours in the search for the right home, easily every day, spending time on looking at listings online. I went and looked at a number of places. I had a vision that I wanted a place that was new, like a newer build, that, because you see these new houses and they've got beautiful chandeliers and the kitchens are stunning and the finishing is fantastic. And I was like, that's what I want. And then I went and looked at them, but they don't have a lot of space in them. Like, lots of these new builds have a kitchen, living room, dining room-ish. And the word dining room is generous. It's a room for a space for a table. All open space and all sort of in one. And there really isn't a lot of space there. And some of these were quite big. And I was looking for a bigger version of that and just could not find it. And found an older house, which once I got there and I was looking around, and it needs some love, like this new house. It needs some love. But
how old is it?
Oh, I've got to say late 60s, 70s, maybe.
That means, though, it's probably built well, right?
I would presume so. I don't know about such things, but I would think that that's an accurate assessment. And because it's still standing. And but the difficulty is that it is It's built in the 60s or 70s. So it's, but as I walked in, I was like, this is the house of dysfunction right here. Like, this is the three things vibe. This is way more of a fit for us, probably, than one of those new shiny homes with no yard and neighbors that are like literally a foot and a half away. Their balconies. One place I looked at, the balcony, I could put my when I was on the balcony, I could reach over and touch the neighbor's balcony, like their patio thing, like off their like.
I'm trying to picture your like get-togethers and Christmas parties and everything. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. So this place will be good. It is smaller. Everything was going to be smaller than this house, obviously, because this house was huge, and so everything was going to be smaller, and I knew that. And it is easily a third smaller, like. Without a doubt. And there were a couple things it didn't have that I was on my list of like needs, like a garage. It's got a carport, which makes me think 60s, right?
what's a carport?
It's like imagine a garage without a door. Like it's attached to the house,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes sort of on an angle, so you have somewhere to park your car out of the snow.
Okay.
So very handy. Like I don't doubt it'll be handy, but it's not a garage, so.
Just look at like it's got like the full garage setup just without the front door. Basically.
Yeah, and then this one has like the one wall is sort of slapped, so the snow could come through, but there's a house fit 20 feet away, so I assume it wouldn't too much, but
Yeah.
but either way, it is not perfect, but this house wasn't either, even though it was fantastic. So hello there, Mance. Hello.
Hello.
So we will, yeah. So it's nice. But the moving piece, so the search was probably 80 hours. I would, as is my fair assessment. So 80 hours looking for a place, and it wasn't from a lack of places. It was just from, and it was an interesting thing because we're looking for an office and a home. It has like these unique needs, right? And so it needed to have a finished basement, and it needed to have a finished basement that could become an office in an easy way without it being like. So it's going to be nice, and it actually will look very similar. The office is going to look very similar, I think, to what we have downstairs. I think it'll look very similar in the end. So
nice.
But yeah, but that said, now becomes I've got a couple of friends who are helping every Monday and coming to do some packing and sorting and packing and such, and that has been a super help. And I'll tell you the one thing though that was most interesting about this process is that and I'm not kidding, I would say every 2 days, maybe every 3 days, I would get messages or emails from folks saying, hey, I saw this house, you should check it out. Like, what was really nice was that the people in my circle were actively being helpful and thoughtful and saying, hey, check this out, check this one out, check this one out. And there's a couple people who probably sent me 15 or 10 or 15 places over that 4-week search. And many of them I'd seen already online myself, but it was just the fact that it was nice to be reminded that people are putting that sort of thought out there, right? Yeah, I was, yeah, it was nice. And now the packing, there is a list, and it's literally 4 pages long, almost like military-based process of what has to happen each day in order for us to be able to get Tracy.
I love it.
So we want
for the whole fam.
We wanted to make sure that there was a place that that the process of packing, like, because when I look at my calendar right now, it makes me super anxious. Like, there are so many colors on it. Like, and so there you go. That brings us though to our adventure, which starts in 18 days.
Yeah. What are the dates? Can you read them out to me? I was trying to find. I was going through my emails and there was just a couple I couldn't.
Okay, so we are going to. Here's the journey we're going to go.
I get them to my Gmail, and then I also get them to my work email, and it's like mismatched sometimes.
That's awesome. And Mello, I want to talk about your mother shortly because she's weird. I want to comment on the weirdness of your whole family, actually, not just Mello. But Mello, that's a lot of weird.
Call our whole family weird, just casually.
Oh, categoric. Oh, I think it's a fair statement today. We'll come back to that. But yeah, like you start on one, and even today, Mello, like I started on one task, right? I was packing my shoes, which again, I won't pretend.
A couple closets worth.
Yes. And I gave away, I think now actually over 80 pairs of shoes in the last couple months. Like,
holy moly.
So yeah. So, but I still.
And how often did you wear like all those shoes?
Not often at all. Lots of them I have
That's awesome.
Like lots of them I've had for 5, 6, 7, 10 years because I only wear them 10 or 12 times a year, maybe, or 5 times a year, or whatever. So Mello, I'll get to it, Mello. I'll get to the weirdness. She's talking about the shoes. Well, now I'm much better. Like there's only 2. You know those big totes, the big black and yellow totes. Like there's only 2.
The ones you send down there.
Yeah, that's what I packed today, and I had 2 totes of shoes left. That was it. So
that's good.
Totally. So I'm down to like probably 30 pairs, 40 pairs ish.
Nice.
And
you got your seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
So needless.
How much do you have unpacked right now, like in your rotation? Yeah.
Like for shoes. So I left out about 10 pairs, and then. But here's the thing. So today is the 19th, and we leave. Grandma Kate, Simon, and I are going to head to Toronto on June 6th, my brother's birthday. And we're going to head to Toronto that night or that afternoon. So that is in, what is that? 1.5 weeks. So I kept shoes out for the next 1.5 weeks, but I also kept some, like the ones I'm going to take on tour, which is only 3 pairs, because I'm going to try to pack really, really light.
And good for you. I'm interested to see how that looks.
Yeah, me too. Funny enough. So we're going to leave on the 6th. The 7th, we are going to meet you at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Then at Halifax Airport, we're going to meet you there, I think, in the morning-ish. And then we're going to drive to Member 2 First Nation, which is super excited. And Paul is there. Hey, Paul. And they're, well, yeah, mine certainly weren't. I had to dust. Before I donated all those, the first lot, they all had to get like wiped down. And yeah, there's a lot of dust. So we're going to head to Member 2 First Nation on the 7th of June, and on Saturday afternoon at the school. And we're really grateful to the Member 2 First Nation and the education department who have opened up their school for us that day. And so young people 13 to 18 in Nova Scotia, we invite you to join us. So we'll be there that afternoon. And a shout out to my pal, Darren Gugu, who helped make that happen. Very, very grateful.
Huge help. We're very grateful. I said a huge help. We're super grateful.
Totally. And have you met Darren?
Yeah, we met a couple times. Not like briefly and stuff. I've seen him around here and there.
Paul asks if we're going to get to Eskazoni, and I wish we would, but we cannot, sadly. This is like...
But we are at least in Member 2, so it's close.
We're hoping youth from Eskazoni will come.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully it's close enough.
Dawn, right? Dawn is the principal of the school in Eskazoni, isn't she?
I believe she's still the principal there yet.
Yeah, so maybe we'll So we'll reach out. We're going to reach out across each province and region to make sure that young people know this is happening. So we're going to spend the night in Member 2. I think the plan is to have dinner at Kaju's. And it might be, I
wonder if they still got the fried bologna sandwich.
Oh, I think they do, yeah. Or they've got something similar, yes. So they've got a lovely menu. So I think that's the hope, is to have dinner at Kaju's, which excites me greatly. And then that day we're going to spend the night in Member 2. The next day we're going to drive to Eel Ground, I believe, First Nation in New Brunswick, and it's going to look a little. Darren Gugu's mom is my mom's first cousin. Oh, You are related.
Yeah. Okay. We are related. Yeah. I knew
Oh,
we were related, and
there
just
you go.
that's cool.
Darren is your cousin.
What? So that makes us second cousins.
Well, we're natives, so just a cousin, just cousin. Or you're gonna have
Yeah,
to get
we're
a shirt.
cousins. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, we're cousins.
Lana's right. There will be
Yeah,
Goo clans. That's
there's a couple different ones.
that is awesome. So we're gonna head to Eel Ground First Nation the next day, and but there's gonna be a little twist on this because you're gonna head to Moncton, in fact, young man,
Mm-hmm.
and pick up Andrew Stevens from the airport in
Yeah.
Moncton, and then meet us in Eel Ground, where we're going to do a session there at the school. And again, much thanks to the principal and Marie. I apologize for not knowing her name immediately. I look forward to meeting her if she's going to be there. But Terry Ann, so much thanks to Terry Ann for opening the school for us that day, and we're going to spend the time late in the late afternoon with young people from. Oh, and there's Curtis White. I didn't know that. That's exciting.
El Sabuktuk, maybe.
Yeah, Elizabeth Took. Yeah, Curtis. That's I do remember Curtis. I liked working with Curtis. I was sad when he left the city. Then on New Brunswick, from New Brunswick, we're going to stay there for the night in that region. And the next day, we are going to drive to PEI, where we're going to go to Lennox Island First Nations. And so on the 10th, we're going to do a session in Stranger Things Have Happened, eh, Paul? There's a good, who knows? So the whatever that is, that's the 10th. We're going to be in Lennox Island First Nation,
Nice.
and I haven't been there since before COVID, and I used to go there regularly. I'm very excited to go back. Then the next day, we're going to drive back to Nova Scotia and jump on a plane and end up that night in Newfoundland in Corner Brook. Where we're going to spend the next 2 days, because on the 12th we'll be in Newfoundland and Corner Brook, and in Corner Brook we are going to be at the I apologize here. I didn't know we were going to go this detailed, but in
I love it.
Yeah, in Newfoundland we are going to go to Grenfell campus, part of Memorial University, and so we're grateful to Memorial University for opening the doors there, and also very grateful for your team who's been making the connections on the ground to make these things happen. So that's been super helpful. Yeah, so we're going to be in Newfoundland on that 11th, and I'm going to try my hardest. So we land in Deer Lake on the evening of the 11th, drive to Corner Brook. We've got the tour that day, but our flight isn't until, I think, if I'm not mistaken, later in the day on the 13th. My aunt just passed in the Steeple Crossing yesterday, and so it is about 40 minutes away. I was already planning on bringing you all to go meet my family there, and so now I'd like to even more so to see if we can make that happen. Paul says need someone to carry your luggage on my walker. It'd be awesome to have it. So Paul, for those of you who don't know, you can find him. I think if you've got a Facebook page, make sure you put that in the comments. Paul is doing this wonderful work with drones right now, and with our community, the local and urban indigenous community, doing drone video and photos of events and gatherings and yeah. So Marty's just stopping Millbrook. I would love to. I always love stopping in Millbrook, but I don't think we're going to this time. I think that's
no full time.
I don't think we're going to be able to. I think we're
Driving.
So after Newfoundland, we're going to drive to Goose Bay, which I think actually has us flying to back to Halifax and then to Goose Bay. I think I can't, if I'm not mistaken, when we're in Corner Brook, which by the crow flies, I think is 100 kilometers from Goose Bay. We just have that body of ocean or something in between. But so I think we got to fly back to Halifax and then to Goose Bay. So we'll get to Goose Bay on the night of the 13th. Then on Friday the 14th, we're going to do a session in Goose Bay, which we're really excited about. And again, I haven't been there in a very long time as well. So yeah, and then on the Saturday we will fly home. So that is a heck of a trip.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited.
Which, just for the record, if you're following along at home, needs a really good precision. Like everything has to happen.
Yeah, we got to be on point.
On point. So here's the thing, right? We're going to leave on the 6th, as I said. We're going to get home on the 15th. And then we're going to move the office and the house on Tuesday the 18th.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
So
you guys got to like really get packing pretty much before we leave.
Oh yeah. Tuesday the 18th. Is move day. Movers will come. Everything will go. And then on Thursday, our team heads out to Ottawa, and we're super stoked to have our friends from Saskatchewan First Nation come to join us on a new project, our new program we're delivering around confidence building. And so we're with them over National Indigenous Peoples Day, and we're going to go to the Solstice Powwow that happens every year.
Sorry, where was this?
In Ottawa. So
right.
We've got 20 young people coming out from Saskatchewan, and Trent Friday. A shout out to Trent and Christine and Christopher, who is the head director of health there, and the whole team there, like Tyson and Natasha, of course, right? And
awesome.
Chief there is fantastic. So these young people are going to come, and we're going to focus over the weekend on building confidence and why confidence is so important, how it leads to resilience, and how resilience leads to leadership. So
that's so
that
cool.
all
said.
said,
a group of 20?
Well, yeah, there'll be. I think there's 20 and 18 in total. I think that was because that was all they could get on the charter flights. So
yeah,
folks who don't know, Saskatchewan is up in the James Bay, and so to get from Saskatchewan, they have to fly to Timmins first on a charter, and then go from there. And they're going to take a bus actually from Timmins to Ottawa, which is about
how long is that?
10 hours maybe.
Oh
and,
my goodness!
And they're writing their final exams that morning, then fly to Timmins, then take the bus until the wee hours.
That's brutal. They're warriors, man. They're tough.
They are. I want to just flip back for a second. I want to talk about your weird family, but first I just want to shout out to Jaylene and crew who offered to help there, and to Lana offering to help. And I very well may take you up on it that last weekend. That weekend we get back. It is because I feel like there's going to be a need for that, and it is a busy month, Mello, and throw into it. We have I won't share it here yet but I believe this week we confirmed our sport ambassador for the Olympic project, should it happen. So
should it happen, but still
with Paris 2024, we are literally in the waiting stage, and it'll either happen or it won't happen. I don't know yet. I have no idea. And I honestly, there's a bit of me that's like, I think it's going to be hard for a funder to say, oh, they could do this in this short amount of time, because they don't know. They know us, but they've funded Uluwag and ourselves before, right, with Peru, but it's going to be tight. But we're super stoked that we have Avery Dockstader working on this project, and she is killing it. And so we met with a incredibly amazing potential ambassador, Olympian gold medal, Indigenous gold medal winner at the Olympics, world champion in her sport, and and we've actually met her before, Brennan, you and I, and I've met her as well in person, and I'm just absolutely stoked. We also have a potential of having a part of our team will be Grandma Kate, of course, right? And but we also have a potential of having an old friend, old maybe being a keyword, who may also be able to join us in that role, and just a world of knowledge. So we've had a good week with planning and such, and we're really grateful to Ulwag who helped us and reach out to the sorry, Sunday night Indigenous Peoples Resilience Fund, and who's allowing this sort of planning and prep to work. So all of that said, based going back to Mello's, you've got a busy month. This is all just presuming that the Olympics isn't happening.
Yeah. Which is a super tight window.
So
Like,
if it should happen, if we get the call, right? If we get the call,
would we be doing a lot on the tour?
Oh, we'll be doing a ton of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
we've done a lot of fun and stuff. Like we'll have by the time we leave on the 5th, in case we haven't heard by then. If we haven't heard by June 5th, I've got to assume it's not happening, to be truthful.
Yeah. Because that's just not such little time.
Yeah, like we did the ship.
Like for them logistically, I can't imagine them.
Yeah, like we could still pull it together, but I would find it very difficult. We'd have to shave the program down a bit because we wouldn't be able to. I don't think we'd be able to have time to get the rest of the funds that are needed for all the extra sort of stuff, like food. But we will see. We'll see. It is either way, it will play out. But if it does, when we leave here on the 6th, the website is going to be ready to go if we need it to be. The application is, we finished it the other day, is ready to go if need be. So we can pull the trigger really quick and away we go from there, but we'll see. But that said, if it doesn't happen, then July will be nice to have a little break and a little slower pace. So I very much want the project to happen, but at the same time, if it doesn't, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, but let's talk about your weird family. So I say weird and actually mean it actually is. You know when someone does something and like it's like I'm thinking about maybe it's like crab in the bucket kind of stuff. Like you see people doing things that are so awesome.
This is becoming less and less clear the more you speak.
Oh really?
Yeah, you went from weird to crabs in the bucket.
Well, because I watched. So okay, so you're the only. I asked you sent you a text today. And I was asking if there was like a bear chasing your family today, because I watched all. Lift my hands up to your crew who ran another 5K today.
Yeah, yesterday, Brady, mom and dad showed them, and then Brady ran the half marathon today. 5K was yesterday, and Brady ran the half marathon today in like an hour and 44 minutes, I think.
That's insane. Like crazy. So the point I was making is that about the weird is I wouldn't run like that unless there was a bear chasing me. Like, please. Like that's the only reason I can imagine running.
I saw that. I laughed right hard. I was like, what the heck is he trying to say?
But so it is amazing when I see what your family does around not just taking care of yourselves, but your connection to sport, right? Like your connection to activity. And there is a big pile of bravery involved in running races versus just like, I can't run at all, right? Like I run 7 feet and my shins feel like they're going to explode. And literally the last time I ran, that was a number of years ago now, and it was hours it took for the pain to subside. And I'd only run for about 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 6 minutes. And it was a nightmare. But your family runs for pleasure, I think.
Yeah. For the
So Mello, is it for pleasure? Like, there are no bears. There's no bears involved.
There is a zombie run. You can get chased by people dressed up as zombies.
Well, I could probably, that would make sense. I would run from zombies.
Yeah,
I would take splints.
Yeah, that was funny when we did that. That was fun, man. We did that years ago, and we got like a bunch of my cousins from Cape Breton and stuff. We all did it, and it was really fun. Big group of us. Mom says, "Yes, sir."
So yes, sir, meaning yes, you run for like. Oh wait, Tracy wants clarity. Yes, there's bears, or is it dinosaurs? Bears.
Bears and Banff. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh yeah, they had to. I think they had to brief them on Banff on like wild bears and stuff.
Oh, of course, yeah, totally.
Yeah, that would be terrifying. I'm scared of black bears here. I can't imagine them running into a brown bear.
All right, now your mom's just swearing in the chat, just to be clear. This is a family-friendly program.
Running is fun.
Right. You know, I say this as someone who tries to take care of themselves, like physically, right? Every day active.
Yeah.
Like, every day I'm active. Every day I'm like, yeah, it is. But at the end of the day, I look at folks who are running, and not just like sometimes I do judge people as I'm driving and I see them running on the side of the road, like especially if it's early in the morning. I'm like,
try hard.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, what's that about? Like, we got to do something wrong. But then I think to myself, the neighborhood that I walk in every day, or not every day, but multiple days a week, they must look at me and be like, what's he doing? Just around my block. But
you walk for like an hour, don't you?
Yeah, I walk for an hour every day. Today I didn't leave the house, and I walked for 9.3 kilometers without leaving my house.
That's insane.
Yeah,
so that's deadly. Good for you.
12,000 steps, no leaving. But Mello and Chris and Brady, I am only teasing. I just think so the crabs in the bucket part was that I think I'm just jealous, and so I was trying to like pull those crabs down, right? I think that was what it was like, and
Lana's got a point.
What is
you walk 10K every day? That's no small thing.
Yeah,
that's a lot, man. That's a lot on your legs and your body. Like I mean, pretty much like the same benefits, right? Like, yeah, you don't see the same like performance difference, but
yeah,
like, health-wise, long term, I'd say so.
Yeah.
So and you are like insanely dedicated to walking and being active.
Well, it's been probably we're.
You've missed like what, one day in the past like few years?
I've not missed a day in 2.5. Well, more than 2.5 years now.
That's deadly. That's such a high level of discipline and dedication.
Well, I think addiction. Like so I stopped.
What is the fine line? Like, what are they pretty much the same thing?
Very similar, because when I was in Barbados, I had that great routine going, and notice I left that comment on the screen for like 12 minutes.
As you should. Print it out and put it on your mirror.
But here's what happened is that I was walking every day, fit, feeling great, eating healthy, and then my Apple Watch died.
Yeah.
In Barbados, remember that? And then I stopped walking completely. I was like, well, it's not being counted. It doesn't matter now.
Yeah, you were devastated. I remember.
I was devastated. It gutted me. And then I stopped walking in the 2 months of not walking before I moved home. And now it coincided as well, I should say, with the opening of stuff, right? Like stuff was open. So we were going to do more things, eat out a lot more. But I gained every pound I had lost in the 5 months. I gained it back in 2 months.
Nice.
Like, because there was no walking anymore, and there was just unhealthiness. So, yeah, womp womp.
That's wild to like think how big of a difference like your life would be without walking.
Oh,
like,
well,
now
the guy at my gym, like where Brody and I go, and Brody's amazing, and I'm so proud of him, watching him grow his business, right? When we started, he was like fresh out of school, out of college he was a brand new personal trainer officially and
We had
registered.
him on the show before, didn't we?
Yeah, got him on
Yeah.
the show. Yeah, I think twice maybe,
Yeah.
and so watching him grow his business, and he's the thing about Brody, and his mom is the same too, and it's kind of like your family. Like I like everyone in that family because they're all just genuinely kind people, like just kind, like kind, and Brody is just he's so thoughtful and nice, and so anyways, so we go to this gym every twice a week and just do stretchy stuff and things. Like I'm not lifting weights or anything, and I fight it every time, and I call him names, and I'm sometimes if he's got me like doing a leg thing, I sometimes try to kick him or hit him with my leg. I mock him and his everything about him. He's got cats. I mock that.
The cats. You even bring the cats into it?
I bring the cats into it. Just the whole 9 yards. But I keep going back because it's so good. But I was there one day, and the fella at the gym, the guy who works behind the desk, and he's a newcomer, and so he was asking. He wasn't being hurtful in any way, but he looked at me and he said, "Peter," he said, "you are so committed. You come all the time here. You're so committed to taking care of yourself. Then why is this the same all the time?"
No way. What? He's just dead serious too.
Yeah. So he is literally, and he was being genuine, right? He was asking out of care, like he wasn't being rude. And I'm like, well,
Like,
my diet doesn't match it. So here's exciting news. Today is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 7 days with no sugar. No sugar.
Man, I forgot about that.
No processed foods. No junk. I didn't eat out this week at all. Not a meal out. I cooked. I made salads. Yeah. Oh, that's a lie. I did have one processed food and one meal out. I had a Costco hot dog with Steph yesterday, but I took it. I had no bun. Just
like a keto dog.
Yeah, just a keto dog.
That's awesome.
And
everyone gets a cheat meal once a week.
Yeah, so it was just a hot dog. So there we go. Yeah, look at that, eh?
That's insane.
9 million kilometers. Is that right? 9 million kilometers?
9.125 million kilometers. 2.5 years.
Holy moly.
How many kilometers a day? 10?
10, yeah. 10 minimum. 10 minimum. When we went to England, we did. Well, even when we went down to meet you, JJ and I went and met you and your dad and your family.
Orlando, yeah.
Orlando. That one we had a like I don't remember what that was, but we had a bunch then. When I went on vacation,
that was awesome.
We had a bunch then, but Europe last year, I don't remember what I think it was 118 kilometers in 7 days or something.
That's deadly. That's insane.
Yeah, it was. I would ask Corey, but he's already fallen asleep on the couch, I'm sure.
Were you like sore? Or like just used to it because you walk all the time anyway?
No, I wasn't sore, but got home and found out I had COVID. Probably had COVID for several days because I was tired. But I assumed I was tired because we were walking 20 kilometers a day. So, yeah.
I don't remember. Did you get tired in Peru? Like, did the altitude affect you?
Oh, climbing Machu Picchu, I was going to have a heart attack. I was probably 30 pounds heavier when we went to Peru. Like I was easily 30 pounds heavier than I am now. And I thought I was going to have a heart attack climbing that. Like that entire.
That was brutal for me. Oh my.
Oh, like it was
crazy.
It was. I was first of all, I was traveling with a group of people, yourself included, who were athletes and active human beings. Like everyone, every single person, but me. Like
that's wild. Literally, yeah, that's crazy.
There were moments where I was leaning against the rocks, climbing. Because first of all, this is how Machu Picchu sold themselves. There are 3 different options. You can get the one where you have the Sherpa who carries your stuff, and by law, the Sherpa has to carry your stuff. You don't carry anything. Then you can have the fancy one with the fancy Sherpas, where like they do everything for you and maybe piggyback you. I don't know, but it's like a super fancy version. Or you could do one where you just hike a day and you hike up that final road or whatever and then get there and then climb. Or you can take a luxury train and bus and we'll bring you right to Machu Picchu. True statement. They don't tell you, though, there are 7,000 more steps to climb. And steps, I'm confused by how big of legs people had when that was built.
They made that place for giants. I'm convinced.
Totally.
I think giants were real back then.
Because there were literally stones that were this, like,
massive. You're like crawling up the stairs.
Totally. And so more than once, I was literally leaning against the side of a rock, just like thinking, "Oh my God, is this the end of my life?" I'm like, if I'm gonna die, this is probably a good place to do it.
Like, you're staring at Willie walking by you.
Oh, watching that, like literally watching 90-year-olds just skip, 4-year-olds like just humming along. So yeah.
That was like mind blowing at how big that place was, and because I always thought it was just like one like kind of like a building or something.
Yeah, it was just amazing. It was, and that, that moment we had on the top of Machu Picchu. For folks who don't know what we're talking about, we had gone to Peru with a group. What sparked the entire conversation of the Olympics was we had brought a group of young people, of indigenous athletes, to Peru to watch the Pan Am Games. That in itself was amazing. The cultural activities we did there in Peru were amazing. But we had this opportunity to bring young people to Machu Picchu. And really, Wanique Hornmiller is she had gotten an opportunity to go about 2 months earlier. And she's like, we have to show young people this. They have to experience this. And so when we got to the top, it was just wonderful. When they're at the very, very top, there's a prayer wall. And you think of the hundreds of thousands, millions of people who have stopped there and offered prayers to that space, just how significant that is. And so everyone provided an offering to that wall and prayers, but we also smudged it in that spot. And I will never, ever in my life forget that moment. Like this connection that I felt, not just to everyone in our circle, but to something so much bigger than myself. Like, yeah, just absolutely.
Yeah, just standing there and like just even just like sitting there and just trying to like put together in my head the fact that like indigenous people built all that and it's there for so long and like it's just literally marked as one of the wonders of the world. It's like so insane. And then like you said, like all the energy that has been there over the years, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's so cool. So like unbelievable just being there.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. So now we talked earlier about our favorite things, and we were going to chat about our favorite things. So what is when you think about your favorite things, what would they when you think about that experience as we plan and think about this new opportunity that could come our way? What's one of your favorite moments when you think back to Peru that you would like to be able to recreate for folks in Paris?
And stuff like that, like those like super meaningful, just like humbling moments, and where you can also kind of have a little connection of like with your ancestors, right? Like our people are indigenous, that indigenous history and stuff. And, but like, yeah, I was thinking about this today, and just about like youth programming in general, and like how it's like you see all these travel programs and stuff, and like all of the different programs I've been a part of that we've been able to do, and like just like the main thing from the experience is like you could build like the best programming and the coolest speakers and everything, but like sometimes like usually a youth might only take like one memory from it, and it might be like the most to you insignificant thing, right? Like just like for example, when we take the kids to the mall in Ottawa, right? Like those experiences and like the conversations that they're having between each other, and then you see like not 10 years, like 5 years down the road. That's pretty much how far a few years down the road, far removed from say Raised Voices, that what we did, and like now seeing those same youth still interact on like social media, or like seeing them meet up from time to time, and like just being able to like be like kind of like a fly on the wall, you know what I mean, and just like see all these youth just like grow and see like, yeah, just to see where the experience helps push them. And yeah, like that's my favorite part, like seeing those little things where never would have thought that something super important and significant would have happened for someone, and being like, oh yeah, that's, it's just so humbling and like cool, and just like a reminder of like why we do what we do, and what we do, and and it's
Yeah.
like all the like it's important to look at the big picture, but it's also like the small little things. It's just, yeah, I love seeing that like stuff play out.
I think it's always the little things, and the little things are. I apologize too. I just realized the fan is still on. The
Oh, didn't even realize.
I just realized it.
White
The
noise is nice.
the little things, because the little things are still intentional, right? They're not by chance always. They're like, as we're planning and plotting and figuring out how we want to get from here to here, we think it's being thoughtful about the little things. Because like you said, going to the mall, it's not just we're bringing kids to sightsee and touristy, and there's a reason for all of that, right? It's for them to see what's out there in the world, right? It's about hearing stories as they walk, right? It's about connecting, like it's about the social stuff. It's building those skills. There's a bunch of benefits to going to the mall. Like we have them go off on their own, right? We've got our team that's connected to them, but we demonstrate respect and trust, right? Because we're commissioning them to do this big deal thing, right? We're asking them to change the world. And so these are those examples where they get to demonstrate that at 14, 16, 18, whatever they are, that they can do that, right? Like, and then those little moments happen. And yeah, so even the things that we think are the little things in the world, right? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so cool.
I want to quickly just point out to my friend Camille here, Anne, yay Liverpool, third place.
Ooh,
Behind Arsenal.
Top 3.
Top
Behind Arsenal.
behind
That's
Arsenal.
wild. Liverpool behind
I should
Arsenal.
point out very clearly and honestly, though, that this means very little to me.
You're a diehard now.
Well, yeah.
You gotta go to the games and scream your head off.
Well, no, see, that's the thing.
I
didn't
know
that when I went to the opening game last year. I went to the first game of this league. I also want to point out, as a sport, this seems insane. We went on vacation almost 10 months ago to that trip to Europe.
Their season's still going.
Their season is from
That's
July 12th.
Wild.
July 12th.
That's a wild season.
And it just ended today. Like,
no wonder they make so much money.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
And now they're starting playoffs, right?
No, that's it. They're done.
Oh, that's it.
There is no playoffs.
Dang.
It's the end of the season, and whoever's at the top of the rank, so today was it. Today was just the last game, and it just so happened that Man City, which is actually different than Man United, apparently, which is Manchester, I don't know. But Man City went into it 2 points ahead. So Man City needed to lose today for Arsenal to be able to win. So Arsenal had to win and Man City had to lose, and Man City won. Arsenal won their game today, but so did Man City, so they are second place. So they came quite close. Lana's got a question here for us. And what's one thing in this life that you want to do just for you?
I don't know. That's tough. Just for me.
Just for you.
I don't know, like if I had like $1 million type thing,
or just
probably like I don't know. It would be cool to do someday have like just a big I don't even know how to describe it, like a community center here, but for like all of Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Billy have talked about this a few times, but just somewhere where people can like access like rehab and detox and like by our people, and also be able to access it like in a timely manner and stuff. And,
Okay.
but then also have all those other services along with it, like, health services, education, all these different social services. I don't know, but I don't even know what that would look like. But I guess I don't know. I would just,
The
be a better
well,
community.
yours is much more yours is much more thoughtful than mine.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do it for myself.
So what about for
Build a
yourself?
movie theater. That's it. I would
Yeah,
build
you
a movie
oh,
theater for
oh
myself,
you I think you
and I
deserve
would hire a full-time staff, and I would go every night. Probably even do matinees. Be great. Have
like
my lunch in there.
and would you want one like where like would you like that in your house? Like where you are
I think it would be like a guest house type thing.
yeah?
Yeah, like it would be like half Airbnb. People would stay there, like a guest house, but it's really just a big theater. I could walk over,
Now
say buy my popcorn and watch my movies, and
I think you deserve to
dreamt
have,
about this for sure.
and
Yeah.
if not a full movie theater, if not a full movie theater, you do deserve to be able to have that. And yeah, this is and Mello was
Someday.
totally right. Like this is yeah. Um yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's it too. Like my mom hits it on the head. Like I come from a life of I've experienced so much privilege, right? And I've had the privilege to have so many opportunities and like my whole life, even as a kid, right? So I think that's where that comes from. Just
100%. And we want I really want young people to stay living in their communities and bringing back the gifts that they carry to strengthen their nations. I also don't want them to see the world, and the world doesn't have to be the other side of it, but yeah. But if you do have a movie theater, there you
that's awesome. That's the best idea. Yeah, Burger King movie theater.
go.
You know what? That's what I would do. I would get rich. I would buy Burger King, and then I would buy Cineplex, and I'd put them both in the same place, and then I would just retire as the consultant CEO of Cineplex King.
All right. Well, here, so it's
Cineburger.
it's funny that
Cineburger.
I asked that question today because it is not lost on me that I have a lot of opportunity to be in service to our clients, my family, my friends, my community, and it is privilege, right? A lot of it is about privilege. And so Lana's asked about what would we do for ourselves, and so let's see here. This is very windy, it sounds like. This is Ovation of the Seas. She's sailing out of, there you go. She's sailing out of Sydney, Australia. And just this, where we go? Just this weekend, I booked a flight to Sydney, Australia on Halloween.
No way.
I will arrive in Australia on the 2nd of November. And what I want to do just for me is I've always wanted to go to Australia. I'm not now, in fairness, I'm really not seeing too much of Australia on this trip because on my birthday, my 50th birthday on November 4th, I am going to jump on the Ovation of the Seas, this boat right here. There. I'm going to sail on for 9 days through the South Seas.
That's crazy. That's gonna be insane.
It is going to be totally insane. And
what do they have on that boat? Do they have like a casino and a mall and everything?
everything, like everything you ever want, probably. Yeah, like I actually think it's possible that I've been on that ship before. I think a number of years ago, like when it was sailing in the Caribbean.
That's cool.
But it's like I was on one of those because that's an Ovation class, it's called, of ship at Royal Caribbean. But yeah, but that is what that is that question. What is one thing in life that you want to do just for you? And I'm going by myself, like I'm intentionally going by myself, and I'm going to celebrate the fact that I turned 50. And
man, that's unreal.
And yeah, because it is stunning to me. It's just I shake my
50,
head,
man.
Like I just shake because like when I turned 20, I couldn't believe I was alive. And sadly, at 30, I was equally shocked. I'm like, how did that happen? Like, how did I not die in the last decade? And 40, I was like, I'm really glad I'm not dead. But I was still somewhat surprised. Like I never envisioned my life as someone in their 20s or 30s or 40s. I never could envision that. It just didn't think I just didn't think it would happen. Like everything in my life was so there was a lot of intensity, right? And there was a lot of situations where very feasibly I could have not survived it. And so hitting 50 seems to me to be like an example that miracles are real, right? Like miracles are real and yeah. Now that said, I've just said that and I'll probably leave the house and get hit by a bus. But yeah. I've now jinxed it.
Put some cedar in them shoes.
And here's the funniest thing. Even booking it made me nervous because I'm like I was like, sweet geez Louise, like is that gonna jinx this? Like yes.
Is that rooted in that trauma piece of like not
totally
being able to see forward?
Totally, exactly, like 100%. And you are right. I gotta manifest more adventurous things, and I've got a plan actually. I have a plan for 2025.
You still got to get out to that safari in Africa too.
Yes, Kenya? I must return. I must
get that off the bucket list.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I am. Yeah, but I've got a vision for work stuff for 2025 that's just mulling in my head.
Nice.
And we'll see. It's not ready to come out of my mouth yet, but I've been talking about adventure and talking about healing and yeah. So we'll see. But that said, I think your idea of a movie theater, I think in your house, that is because here's the thing, it's also about attainable things, right? Answering that question, like what's one thing in life you want to do just for you, but it's the attainable things. And so creating that youth space is attainable, number one. And you're building skills right now that'll allow you to operationalize that opportunity. Like to be able to liaise with chief and council, with donors, with funders, with government, and be able to make something happen. But the theater part, though, the just for you part, that is about manifesting that so that wherever you live, much like I was looking for X, X, and X in a house, you looking for, as a starting place, the space to be able to have a theater. Like a home.
I need a house.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah, but, I need a home.
Yeah, but that's the next
home to have a home theater.
That is the next step.
Yeah.
And our friends at the food banks, a land-based youth retreat camp, totally.
Oh, love that. Even thinking about that too, I was like, oh, you know what? I think, and realistically thinking too, I think it would be realistic goal to essentially own the theater here, but like as enfranchisement is a thing, right?
Yeah.
Just buy out the franchise and do the Cineplex there, and then
is there a Cineplex?
Yep. It's like right across the highway from here. Yeah.
Aren't you a lucky boy? Look at that.
Oh man, it's great. It's my favorite place. It was my favorite place growing up. Like when they opened it, it was called Studio 7. I remember when they were like clearing up Power Center. It was the best thing ever. Coolest thing. It was the greatest day ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
yeah,
I
because
agree
then
with-
even too, if I owned the theater, I could just bite the bullet and be like, hey, I'll just take all these kids to the theater for the day.
yeah.
Take it out of my pocket.
You know what I love? I love, and I don't know if anyone else watching feels this way. I love that this conversation is happening, not just about not like about this there, but it was 10 years ago that wouldn't be a comment in a conversation.
Interesting. Why?
Because we weren't there yet. Like maybe 15 years ago.
Mm,
We just weren't there. Those conversations weren't happening.
that's
And
cool.
now it's such a natural sentence. Like 15 years ago or 10 years ago, it was still like 15 years ago, it wasn't being talked about. 10 years ago, it's like, oh, wow. Like thinking that's like so outside of the box, even though we've been doing it for 6,891 years, but like so out of the box. And now I love the fact that it's just natural. And it's like, of course, yeah, that's what's needed. Yeah.
That's cool. What's that like to be in this field for that many years and to see that change?
Oh, well,
Because did you always share the same views like 10 years ago that or 15 years ago that you do now of everything, or like
oh, totally. So in the 90s,
like was it just kind of watching people catch up?
well, in the 90s, we brought some young people together, and out on the land and shot this documentary. Learned a lot about filmmaking, like audio matters. The end of the documentary film, the end when we got all the when we got all of the stuff to the film back, we couldn't hear a thing because there was a highway like 2 kilometers away.
No.
But the rumbling, like the mics picked up the rumble. We had even gone to the effort of carrying generators out into the bush so that we wouldn't hear it, right?
Dang.
But the highway noises drowned out all of the content.
That's brutal.
But that said,
That's brutal.
amazing experience though, and without the documentary following up, it was amazing. And this was the 90s, and I knew then that was the path. Like we have to, and it was Indigenous and non-Indigenous kids as well. And I knew there was 2 things I took away from that event. One is that being out on the land mattered, and I was still really actually very comfortable and on the land and like doing outdoor stuff and liking it a lot. Not that I dislike it now, but comfort matters to me more than
Yeah.
But that said, I just could see it in that moment. I knew that, and the elders I was with, and particularly my good friend Robert, who passed last year, it was magic just being on that land. And then it allowed for conversations and opportunities and healing to occur that just never would have, right? And so that part stuck to me. But the other thing that really spoke to me is that we have to be getting Indigenous and non-Indigenous people together, young people together. And I'm still not seeing that in a meaningful way that's strong enough in this country. Because the reality is 1/3 of the country has views and opinions that are hurtful to lots of people, not just us. It's not just focused on us. But we have to be able to address the misinformation and the junk that is out there. And it doesn't have to be us as First Nations folks or our Métis relations or our Inuit relations, right? It needs to be non-Indigenous people who are pushing back on their peers, their aunties, their uncles, their grandparents, their parents, their kids, whoever. So, and I think young people, though, play a significant role in that. And I just think there's this need for, and I know there are projects and programs, but a lot of them are the 18 to 35 crowd, right? And I think if you're 27 and you haven't figured it out yet, you might not have an aha moment. If you're 14, you can have an aha moment because it just makes sense at 14, right? Don't be a jerk. like it's not complicated.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So to answer your question, have I ever seen it? I've seen it. I can think back to that event, and since that, certainly that event in the mid or late '90s, certainly then, without a doubt. But
Cool.
yeah, it
That's
is.
cool
Yeah.
that it's like it's at least it's still getting, people are still focused. Like it's getting better, it's growing, and
It is.
developing.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see where it is, and like this next generation of youth is like the new leaders.
Well, we're seeing it already, right? We're seeing it in North Caribou Lake, right? With our dear friend who's on council now.
Yeah.
Uh,
So cool.
and seeing the shifts and change that are happening there. Like it is happening. It's happening already in places and spaces, and it's happening because these young folks, like she's 21, she's not 28 and being a youth, right? The Senate of Canada just put out a thing on Friday doing a call out for Indigenous youth to share their ideas and et cetera with the Senate for 18 to 35-year-olds.
That was
That's the
younger.
Oh, nothing younger. And then I thought, because they've historically brought people, pre-COVID they used to bring people to the Senate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not doing that.
They want people that can travel. Oh,
so that was my thought, and then I read it, and they're looking for submissions. I'm like, why can't a 14-year-old submit?
Yeah.
And I just think it's such a loss. That makes no sense to me, that stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Because if you're 35 and referencing yourself as a youth, and if I'm not being mean or hurtful to you if you are, but you probably need to process through that.
Mm-hmm.
And figure out if that's the space that you want to be in. Do you want
just the space that you want to take up?
Well, there's that too, yes. But do you want at 33 years old someone be looking at you and be like, oh, well, you're a very powerful youth?
Oh yeah, that's a good point too.
What does that say? Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's my rant of the day about that. But that said, and again, I think the other challenge is that it prevents transitions from happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
It prevents transitions. So that all said, I think if it's all right with you, let me go back to today. Today is the 19th.
Yes, sir.
I think, would you be okay if we took a break for the next 2 Sundays?
We have a guest booked next week.
Oh,
okay. You don't remember if you forgot.
So the Sunday after.
Well, yeah, Sunday after would be fine. But
okay, so the second. So next week. There you go.
If you need to, I could ask to move, but we probably have to wait a couple months.
Not at all. No. We're it just isn't in this calendar. So
no, that's fine. But the next Sunday is fine. Yeah. Funny.
Yeah, we'll have to, it is. So we're going to. So next Sunday we do. You're right. We have a guest. The second, we're going to take a little break that Sunday because that week is going to be just a lot.
Yes.
And then on the 9th, we're going to try our best to have a show, a live show from Brunswick, and with a bunch of guests, and we'll host it. We'll be live together hosting it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Only the second episode in 4 years that we will have done that.
That's crazy.
It is. But then the next Sunday, the 16th, I think we'll take off. It's the Father's Day there, but it's also the one day in between, because I'm hoping that day all of this equipment in my office will all be gone.
Yeah.
So if that's all right, and then we will
make sense.
But we will come back on the 30th of June, which is a long weekend. So again, we may or may not. We'll just sort of have to see how it plays out, right? And the 7th, I will be on the ocean on vacation. So
what?
I'm going to be in the middle of the ocean on vacation on the 7th of July. So it is possible that we might have a little extended break. I just want to let folks know. But stay tuned to the promos that come out and the days that we certainly can. We will. So the 26th we'll be here, and then we'll be back on the 9th, and then potentially back on the 30th, depending on what our weekend is looking like, that long weekend, and then back on the 14th until we go live from Paris on the 28th.
Oh, hopefully.
Cross your fingers. Ever cross your fingers. I want to just give a shout out to our friends at the food bank there. We're really glad you're here. Here's a thought. Maybe we need to start talking. We see young people all the time used as stats in food bank marketing and materials. And I say that because we give to a number of food banks and we get a lot of the requests, right?
Yeah.
And so they always talk about children and youth. Maybe we need to have a conversation in this country with young people whose families have accessed or are accessing food banks to talk to them about what they might want to feel, what they feel, maybe what they want, maybe what they need, and get some insight from their perspectives around how and what they would see as supports that would help break a cycle of need, right? So that
I love that.
There's
definitely an opportunity there for sure.
If anyone wants to play that back on YouTube, type it up and send it to me. Because tomorrow I won't remember that idea, but it's there now. But I think maybe we could have some conversations. And there you go. And they've got a program that's all supported by their youth. Awesome. Mm-hmm. And if you check your email, by the way, I apologize for a very long delay, but we did send you something by email as well today to the food bank. Okay, my friends, that was a lovely way to spend a Sunday, as always.
It was long.
And I love our guests, obviously, but this is super awesome.
Yeah, it is nice.
What are you doing the rest of your evening?
Just work.
So sad.
I'm just so behind, man. Like with lacrosse, like I'm just so all over the place. And like I keep mixing up my schedule and double booking myself. And
is your calendar on your phone attached to the calendar on your computer?
No. But also I got a new phone, and I still haven't put my calendar stuff over because my calendar didn't transfer over. So I keep mixing stuff up.
So that's what I was doing today. The best advice I can offer you, unsolicited and unasked for, is however you're using your phone and your computer, make sure that they're linked. So that that it's connected in some way, so that your calendar, your emails are linked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's Outlook, whether it's, I don't know what other services are out there, but that is essential.
Right.
That is essential to be able to link your device.
I'm trying to think how to link it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I know how to link it with Google and stuff.
Yeah, like with Google, I think you can with Google. Is it a Google phone, right?
Yeah, it's a Google phone.
Oh yeah,
so I have it's just a custom built PC. So.
Yeah. So either way, find a way to link. Well, you just don't. You have Google on your computer, and you have a Google Calendar or whatever, right? Their Office Suite has a calendar thing, don't they?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, sure it does.
Yeah, it's called Google Calendar.
There you go.
So it is, and I'm just looking at it here, and so I actually have all of my, you can bring in on Google Calendar all your other calendars too.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that's my very best guidance is link them so that when you put it into that calendar, it's on all of your devices.
Mm-hmm.
So especially if you're feeling overwhelmed by it, that is the.
I'm just overwhelmed because we the churro rink still isn't fixed, so we're just keep having to change scheduling times and stuff.
Right.
And then because the only rink we can play out of is Brookfield now, which is close. It is fine.
How far is that?
It's super close, just same distance as churro, but it's just we don't it's just harder to get practice times and stuff. We have to keep changing them. We have to practice in gyms and stuff half the time. It's annoying. It's fun though. It's worth it. The kids are awesome.
I'm very glad you're doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How old are they?
13 and under.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched a video. I don't know if Jaylene's still kicking around, but I saw a video of Eli today. Jaylene's oldest. Jaylene and Dakota's oldest. And I think he had a lacrosse stick in
Oh,
his
that's sick.
That
makes me happy.
I'm certain
I
he
hope
did.
so.
So if you are still watching, I'd be very curious to know. And yeah,
You take it everywhere with you.
Yeah, so it looked like they were walking in the park, and there you go. And again, a shout out to your family for running in those 2 races, and a big shout out to Brady for running a half marathon today and doing so well at it.
Oh, and he just made Team Nova Scotia.
I saw
U17.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. He was one of. There was only a couple people that made it that didn't play last year, I think, too.
Yeah. So I did. I saw that. That's super awesome. And it would be awesome to have a lacrosse player apply for the Olympics, or 2,
that would be sweet.
Or 3.
I agree.
So, either way, my friends, it is now time. It is a lovely that it's a holiday tomorrow. I'm very excited.
Yeah, Victoria Day, yay!
It is. Happy birthday, Victoria, and I am
Queen Victoria.
Queen Victoria, yes. So I think that's 4 or 5 kings or queens ago. Charles, Elizabeth's father, and then maybe she was before Elizabeth's father, maybe? I don't know.
Mm.
Oh, Elizabeth's father was actually then Elizabeth's brother, or Elizabeth's uncle was first, because he married the movie star.
Didn't they like marry their like cousins and stuff?
Yeah.
Old-fashioned
medieval. We want to tread lightly on that before.
I'm not judging. I thought that's how it was. I'm not from there.
We want to be careful before we get judgy. Oh, look at that. There's Georgia right there. Georgia, do you know, Georgia, if Eli is playing lacrosse? I thought I saw a lacrosse stick in that video that he posted on Facebook in his knapsack. But either way, yeah, no judges of cousin marrying or cousin.
Very ignorant, and I apologize.
Sorry, Queen.
Oh, we started a U17 team at the EC too. We started a high school team back up. So hopefully, yeah. So hopefully we have a game this year.
You know,
we had our first practice last week.
I opened with the joke of your family's weird, but your family and your DNA is so powerful. It is. It is. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. That's awesome.
What's that?
I love this. He's interested, plus I think he's in school.
Awesome. That is fantastic.
I love that.
Awesome.
Medicine game.
Yeah. So I just want to quickly jump back here. Lana's just pointing out to Corey that she did not fall asleep. Unlike
no rebuttal from Corey in the comments.
Well, because he was asleep, I'm sure. In his chair watching.
That's great. Right.
Georgia is Georgia, I'm gonna find you this week, Georgia. You are on my to hug list this week. So yeah, that's awesome that he's interested. Yeah, super cool. The world is all right, you know that?
Yeah.
And I think
there's a lot to be hopeful for.
Do you have closing thoughts for our friends tonight?
No, just that there's a lot to be hopeful about and proud of in our people, in our communities and our circles, and it's just a reminder for ourselves just to focus on it every once in a while and take some time to appreciate everything and where we've come, where we're going, and where we might be, and where we're at now. And thank you for teaching me all that and continually offering your teachings in medicine and stuff. I'm so honored.
Well, you just nailed it. And I think it's actually even more than just once in a while, right? We get to choose how we see the world.
Mm.
Like how we see the world is often, I think, linked to how we feel the world has treated us. And if we feel the world has treated us poorly, we're going to see the world poorly. Like, and I watch and I look around the world and I watch around in spaces and places. And you're right. Like, because if people are focusing on, I can't see you any longer, but my glasses were super like covered in like chicken or something. But if you focus your energy on why things won't work, focus your energy on why people aren't good, focus your energy on why you are getting the short end of the stick, you're going to manifest it. It's kind of like what like our friends they were saying, manifesting adventures for yourselves, right? Like we can manifest it, but it also what it does is when we repeatedly stick in that negative space, we just get negative. That's the outcome. We're just negative. We can't see the good in the world. We can't see the good in people. We, in fact, thrive on the bad. Like we really like, and I can think of times in my life where I was just negative and because, and maybe rightfully so, but we thrive in that environment because we're comfortable there, right? And yeah, positive vibes create positive energy, and totally like if we're able to shift, and that's the thing about it, we get to choose how we see the world. And if we choose to see the world in a yeah, yeah, Georgia, yin and yang. If life is bad, remember it is also good, right? Like, and if we just shift how we see the world around us, yeah, there's turkeys and jerk faces out there, and yet there are issues that are so significant that we have to address. But there is also those folks that are doing it and trying. There are those people, those beaters who are sitting at their kitchen table making medicine, right? There is grandmothers who are working the land and talking and singing and sharing the language back with the land and talking and having that relationship. There's 13-year-olds out there protecting the water. There's chiefs in Alberta who are saying, no, you can't come on our territory. There is, yeah, there is all of the people who have come and hung out with us in the last 4 years by choice. like because we want to see the world differently. And if we see the world differently, we get to live in the world differently. And that seems pretty good to me. Like for all these stresses and pressures that are currently on my plate, right? I wouldn't change it for a minute, right? Like today was a long day. I probably spent 6 to 8 hours today working on sorting and packing and donating and like creating piles and aren't I lucky to do that? Like, aren't I lucky that I had 8 hours to do that today? Like, I don't know. I want to see the world through that lens. That someone else is in the same position. They're moving this week and they probably didn't have 8 hours. So I'm grateful. I'm going to be grateful this week. I encourage folks to be grateful. And I'm super grateful that in 2 weeks, we're going to be together in real life on the road. And yeah. So it's super awesome. So until next Sunday, I want to share with people who our guest is.
Yeah, so next week we're gonna have the amazing Kiana Kingbird, New Brunswick there. So yeah, she's super awesome. She was formerly part of the OVO Toronto Raptors OVO Creators Program. And yeah, she's a dancer, Peter, creates her own regalia dances, a speaker, content creator. So yeah, she's just really awesome and good friend of me and Andrew's, and so and she's an amazing artist, and so I'm super excited to just have her on. So it'll be really good.
Fantastic. So until next Sunday, friends, we will remind you that you matter in this world. You are super important, and you certainly belong here with us on Sunday nights. And even if you weren't here, we belong here, so that works out.
Yeah. Long.
Have a good
Long
night.
as always. Have a good one.
Ciao.